Hey Aries, we're gonna do your full moon in Leo reading. Quick one, hopefully. I do go on. Oh, Aries. So yeah, this is being recorded at the time of the full moon in Leo on the day of January 28th. However, my readings are timeless, so just because I'm recording it today, whenever you happen to click on this video is the time when it is meant for you to read, to hear rather. But if you're catching this in real time, it is the full moon in Leo, the wolf moon, and it's, full moons are a time of culmination. They're a time to, close cycles. Interesting. And, it's a closing of cycles, closing of projects. It's a really great time to start manifesting towards your next new cycle, which, ideally is started at a new moon. It also means that certain aspects can be heightened. We get a little bit of lunacy around the full moon time. And in Leo, however, we've got some really fiery qualities that are brought out in each and every one of us. And that, can be a level of optimism and brilliance and, confidence, on the fiery side, very passionate, on the sunny side, very warm, and so it's a really great energy to harness, and I am here for it. Let's get creative and proud, shall we? I got my Leo mane today. My hair isn't typically curly, but I just was inspired, and honestly I didn't know why at first, but then I was like, oh, the moon's in Leo, of course. Aries, let's get to your reading. So we've laid out a Celtic cross here. In your signifying position is the King of Cups, and it's crossed by the Lovers. So we are talking about a really, beautiful love, really. It has to do with the energy of nurturing love. It has to do with a spirit of actual serenity in a time of chaos and turmoil potentially. It has to do with dealing with things with a very loving heart. The King of Cups is the most exalted aspect of his element of water, which has to do with love and emotions. And so whatever this situation has to do with, your energy or the person you're dealing with's energy, or people, the person you're dealing with's energy is very abundant and loving, very overflowing with a nurturing sense. But there's a sense of serenity also around chaos. And crossing it is the love is the mini Lovers card. It's the Two of Cups, and this is a really beautiful way to start. And so it has to do with a really deep connection, if not soul contract and soulmate. So this person, or whether this is your energy or another person's energy, it's based on, of course it's this supported emotionally, because it's based on a real connection. I always like to say that even though these Cups cards come out and you want to go straight to love and relationship, it doesn't have to be, especially because these are general readings. We can also be talking about deep connected partnerships in the work that we do, in the projects that we commit to, in the creative ventures that we put forth, in our friendships, in our day-to-day friendships that support us through every aspect of our lives. These connections come in all shapes, sizes, and forms and formats. And so I do want to point that out. For some of you, it will be romantic. This is whatever it is, or platonic. Whether it's romantic or platonic, there is a lot of love, and it's a really deep connection on a soul level. And so what's happening in your life right now has to do with this, and probably with a particular person. At the root of you is the Magician. So there's something you've manifested forward, something you're manifesting forward. Perhaps it was the relationship and the closeness itself, and perhaps it's something you're working on together. The Magician talks about having all the tools for the all the tools for the job. He has represented on this card every element of the tarot here, meaning the cups, the pentacles, the wands, the swords. He's fully balanced in resources, and he's the connective tissue between the earth and the spirit realm. And so he's manifesting forward from spirit to earth. Anything he wants, really. He's the master manifester. The magician is making things happen. And this is at the root of you. Something that you're manifesting forward, but together with this person with whom you have a very deep connection with. And then your recent past is the Knight of Pentacles. This is a messenger energy, something coming in. So basically what has happened, your manifestation has been coming forward. It's been coming forward very slowly, but it is coming forward. There may have been an offer. Somebody may have come forward and said, here's something to work with. Now, whether that's a material offer in relationship or in work or in more resources, Pentacles is materials and resources and money. So that can be something that you've heard about recently, but it's kind of coming in slowly but steadily. This is a very reliable energy though, even if it's not coming in quickly, maybe it's not coming in quickly enough. You can rely on it. It's on the way. Don't worry. And so this is in your recent past, sort of inspiring the situation forward. Aries, what's crowning you is a tower moment. The tower speaks about unexpected upheaval, or just unexpected something unexpected happened. And there is such a thing as positive tower moments, meaning that the unexpected thing wasn't a terrible destructive breakdown. It was an unexpected gift. It is major arcana, however. The thing was life-changing, whatever it was, and this is the energy that's crowning you. So when I see the magician at the root and the tower at the crown, you manifested this forward. This is something that you brought forward, and likely because of this connection, and you may be working in partnership to bring this thing forward. Wow. Sorry about the cat. We'll tend to her in a moment, but so this tower moment is something that came forward to that happened for a reason, beyond the fact that you manifested it, and you manifested it likely because it was something that had to fall. And the reason why it's not something that you could, it's tricky because the semantics here is, but I didn't see it coming, but I manifested it. How are those two things true? We do this all the time though, don't we? Like where something perhaps pretty major in some major aspect of our lives is there, seemingly immovable, and maybe it's not something that I feel I can disrupt because of reasons, because of expectations. A lot of times it happens in relationships or jobs, jobs where you're like, let's use that as the example. The job that I have that I'm making great money at, I don't love it. I don't like it even. It's making me miserable. I need it to go away, but I can't find it in me to quit or walk away because it's more complicated than that oftentimes. And so inside, somehow you do manifest the way forward, and somebody lays you off and gives you a big old severance check and you walk away. And it's a big tower moment. Yes, it's disruptive, and it kind of like comes out of nowhere because you didn't set the appointment, and it happened, the universe goes to work for you is what happens. And it comes up and it just, it takes you by surprise is what happens. And this is what's crowning you, Aries. So this is energy. And again, at the core is this partnership. So whether this person has been a great support system for you throughout the tower moment, throughout the period within which things felt like they were sort of falling apart as a result of this, because good or bad, things do fall apart a little bit, and there's some rebuilding that needs to be done, and some stuff to get used to, things that used to be there not being there anymore, having to rebuild, you know, and the Tower is a paradigm shift, by the way, so you really have to like set up new fundamentals. And so it's a big undertaking. It can be joyous, though. It should be, on the other hand, on the other side of the Tower moment, by the way. Like at some point, I think you can be really, really happy about the sense of freedom that you will earn through the Tower falling. And in your near future, you have the Knight of Cups, and so this is an offering now that is very heartfelt, and it's an offering of love, it's an offering of creativity. So this moves forward. What's interesting in this lineup here is you have you know, the Knight of Pentacles leading into our Cups energy, our King of Cups, and our mini lovers, I like to say, our Two of Cups energy, and then you know, coming out with bookending with the Knight of Cups as a real love offering. Now this offer that was coming so slow and steady before, it's here now. It's here, and it's coming a little faster. You see the gauge is up to a trot now, and it's coming with a lot of emotion, a lot of, you know, of heartfelt backing. You know, it's here, and it's in the form of creativity for a lot of you, and it's something that you're building with this person. So Aries, some of you, you know, it will be romantic. Others of you, it will be something else, some project that you're working together, and it's a creative partnership. But lots of cups energy, so it talks about it coming from a place of you know, that is deep, that strikes you deep in the heart space. And so if it's, you know, because of this partnership, that's going to be true for some of you. Others of you, it's because it's something that you're working on, something that is very meaningful to you, something that you love, You are in the position, you come out in the position of you come out as the Hierophant in your position, and the Hierophant talks about practice and discipline and tradition, and, you know, sometimes it's marriage. So when you have cards like this on the table, like, you know, the Two of Cups and alongside the Hierophant, some of you, that will mean a marriage or a proposal comes out of this. Maybe because this is in your position, you're the one who will be proposing, or proposing, if not marriage, you know, taking the next step, bringing it to the next level. The Hierophant has a 3-tiered crown on his head, and his headdress is 3-tiered, and it talks about the different levels of, you know, the spirit realm below the earth and the spirit realm above. But so there's level up implied on this card, and so it's a traditional leveling up implied as well. So whether that's a marriage proposal or taking the relationship to whatever next level that it, you know, is headed towards, that the Hierophant suggests that this is something that you may propose. It's also a card of deep practice and discipline to me, and it's making something, it's like it's legitimizing something. So something that perhaps, if this is a project that you're working on, something that was in the dream planning stage now starts to legitimize, and it starts to, you know, you start to sign paperwork around it, and you start to get a, you know, your office space, and you start to, or your studio space, and you start to actually commit to bringing your dream to the next level in this partnership. And indeed, the Justice card is next, and this can also mean it's in your environment. So it means that there's a lot of, you know, legal stuff happening. So there's a lot of paperwork being signed. But again, they can talk about the marriage certificate too. So for some of you, it is going to be relationship based, and others of you, it's going to be something that, you know, you're taking a project to the next level, and it's seeing you know, its legal phase, and it's in your environment. It's also implies great balance, and so this partnership, you know, remains very just, very balanced. This is your environment, so everything that you're working on and working towards together remains really, really balanced. It's a really beautiful partnership indeed, and it's no wonder, because you're made of this is supposed to happen. This was, and I'm not saying that this is fate. I'm not really big on fate. I think things, get lined up and then we have free will. But I do believe in soul contracts, whether or not they're committed here on Earth here on Earth this time around. Like there are entities and souls and soulmates that, we have these allegiances to from past lives, from, in the astral plane. At some point we kind of go into agreement, like we will meet again. And whether that happens this time around or later, that's where the free will comes into play, because you may encounter that soul and you just don't get around to completing that contract this time around. But in this situation, this soulmate, however that relationship manifests, it is going to the next level. And in the Justice card, it tells me that this was a contract that you forged a long time ago, and not necessarily on this plane. And so you're seeing it through. It's seeing a lot of balance, and it's legitimizing, it's establishing, it's becoming this is all major arcana, lots of major arcana, by the way, Aries. So this is a really big deal level up for you. In your hopes and fears is the Strength card, and of course it's Leo energy, and it talks about courage. Do you have the courage to see this through? Do you have the courage to be bold? Do you have the courage to go to the next level? Let's talk about leveling up really quick. And it's always, of course you do that. On paper, of course you do that. But we often get to the new territory, the new level, and the first thing that goes is our confidence, because we don't know ourselves in this space. The stuff that we're made of, the stuff that we come with, the stuff that was good enough or made us really strong in the level before doesn't feel as adequate when you're in the new, more ascended space. And so our courage is really tested, and it takes courage to be in this new, more elevated space. It does, at least at first, until you integrate and your vibration comes up to match the new, more elevated environment. This is just the way it goes. You have to calibrate in the new, more ascended with the new, more ascended vibration. There is a calibration period, and that period is a moment that some people might go back. They might regress. Regression happens, and for that to not happen, strength is required, courage is required to see it through. And the best piece of advice I can give you, and that this card is giving you, is to steady on. It is natural, and you will calibrate very quickly. It's okay. Just stay courageous. Keep your courage, and stay strong through this period, through this process, because it's going to bring you really great places. Ultimately, we have an outcome of the Four of Pentacles. So this is a period where it's, you start to sort of level out, and you get there, you calibrate, and you have a sense of being in control of your resources. The Four of Pentacles talks about, it talks about great gain, but then it also sort of implies that now you don't want to regress, you don't want to go backwards, and so you perhaps hold tight to what you've earned thus far. And so I think that we're going to get some clarifiers on this card. it speaks to really great success, but it also speaks to a little bit of fear creeping up again. And I don't think you have to worry. And yeah, because you're investing a lot of really steady, honest work, and the seeds are planted, and you stand to harvest a great deal. This is a card of investments and standing back to watch the fruit grow, right? Watch the fruit of your efforts grow. And so, so it's so interesting. We start with a lot of cups energy, and you can see all the love and passion that you have for this, and it legitimizes and it elevates, and you make it to the next level. And then when you start to see, real material results come through, even if this is the relationship reading still, it's now, it's like you're living in the 3D. It's so interesting, these minor arcana pentacles, they get really simple really fast. And it's like, oh, all of this dreamy cups energy is so big and romantic and romanticized, and it feels so big up in the head, and it feels like magic, and it is magic. And then you get it, it grounds, it legitimizes. And actually the day-to-day is quite simple, isn't it? And it's like, oh, it's just like waking up in the morning, doing my work, or, this work on this relationship, and seeing what I get every day, And it's a really beautiful thing, because what happens is, like, you ascend, you calibrate, and then things kind of take form, and it's your everyday life now, and you get to live it, and it's really great. So but I would say that in that process, once you get there, don't hold on too tight to what it is, because, and I'm sorry, I don't like to tell people don't do this, don't do that. I think the advice would be to be careful of what, of letting a scarcity mindset set in for fear of losing what you just earned. That's something that can also require great strength. And oh yeah, wow, so much. Okay, I have to decipher this really quick, but that's the general message when things get manifest, and you get everything that you asked for and brought forward, and it now becomes mundane, it becomes a reality. There's a sense of something else going on here. The Six of Swords talks about walking away from chaos and leaving choppy waters behind, and kind of there's a little bit of mental energy that's taking with you. Look, these ascension periods are not clean and clear. We are far more complicated than this. And let's go back to our King of Cups, who sits. Remember, we talked about this energy being able to be really, really serene and loving and caring in the midst of chaos and choppy waters. He's sitting in choppy waters. And so it implies that's kind of where you were coming from, even though your love was even though you were handling things with a lot of love and understanding and compassion, and and attracting a soulmate in, there was some chaos around there. And so this is talking about in your outcome as you move forward and make this partnership manifest and legitimize it forward. It talks about you moving away from those choppy waters, moving away from that calamity is what the word that just came through. It may resonate for some of you. And so there's this sort of, this unrest that you decided to move away from, because it's something that was in the last level, right? And you go to a more peaceful place, a more peaceful, place that's actually working for you way better. But there's something that, you take your swords with you, and so there's stuff to sort out. There's a sense of having to go deep inside, and the Hermit talks about going within to find your light, your inner wisdom. He's a very sage, wise energy, and the Hermit is here to tell you that having to decipher what this is going to require a great deal of consideration and meditation. You're taking your swords with you. Again, the Two of Swords comes up to talk also about these waters of unrest, this emotional turmoil that doesn't entirely go away. So we've got two things going on here. We have emotional turmoil and a little bit of mental up in the head anxiety that we take with us on this journey towards our peace. And you know, you have fully ascended. Again, things are more complicated than just like, I was here, now I'm there. We tend to take things with us and we have to work them out in their given time. And so in your outcome, while you succeed and you get, you know, your beautiful life of steady, you know, steady investments coming forward, you know, and bearing fruit, you have to also sort out the stuff that went before. Now that you're out of the chaos and moved away from the chaos, you can do that. And indeed, what happens is a homecoming, a really beautiful, beautiful Four of Wands homecoming. The Four of Wands is a beautiful way to end your reading, and it makes a lot of sense that this is everything you've been working for. It's a card of union and unity and homecoming. It's often called the 1111 cards because of the way that these wands are standing, but it also because it means, you know, a great deal of union and community and loving, cherishing, fiery passion found at home. Hearth and home is what this card is all about. And this is what you find with this, you know, in this partnership, in this soulmate, whether it's romantic or whether it's in terms of another type of partnership, you find a great deal of yourself in it as it manifests, and you bring it forward, and it becomes a part of your day-to-day. And it's just, you know, it's your day under the sun now. Aries, I'm going to leave it there for you. If you like this reading, if it resonated with you, please do hit the thumbs up button there and subscribe. I hope to see you again at the next one. In the meantime, I'm sending you my love and light. Thanks.